Assalamu alaikum. This podcast is brought to you by SeekersGuidance, the global Islamic seminary. Help us spread the light of prophetic guidance to millions around the world by becoming a monthly supporter. Make a small donation at seekersguidance.org/donate. As little as $10 a month can help people find life-changing guidance.
There's a question. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is withholding your rizq, what could be the reason for this? Well, firstly, one has to keep in mind, what is rizq? Rizq is all that Allah provides for you, right? That sustains you. Right? Rizq is all that Allah provides for you that sustains you. And we have to keep in mind that the greatest provision that sustains us is not the merely material provision, money, but above all, the greatest rizq is rizqul iman wal hidayah. Right? The greatest rizq is the spiritual rizq of faith and guidance. The rizq of our physical and emotional well-being is provision from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? وَكَانَ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكَ عَظِيمًا. That and the bounty of Allah upon you is tremendous. Right? وَأَتَاكُم مِّن, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He has given you مِن كُلِّ مَا سَأَلْتُمُوهُ. He has granted you from everything that you've asked Him for, that you could ask Him for. Right? So one has to, when we look at rizq, that okay, some rizq is constrained, you have to step back and look at the bigger picture. Every breath of yours is a gift from Allah. Every moment in your life is a gift from Allah. Everything around you is a gift. The air is a gift. The oxygen it contains, it's all a gift. Right? So the fact that you may not have a job, you're still alive. You still have faith, you still have guidance, you still have good, you still have health. Even if you're unwell in one way, let's say you're having kidney trouble, let's just say. But the kidney is one organ. Look at everything that is good with you. You're having eye trouble, but your heart is still beating and your liver is still working and your kidney, all of it. What did you do to deserve all of that? Right? So you have to contextualize the challenges. That's one. Number two, the basis of this life is that it's a test. الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ. He has created death and life and all within to test you. And what is the test? To respond in the right way. The basis of a test is that we respond to the test in a good way. So when rizq is constrained materially, we have some good answers on Seekers about how keys to having more expansive provision from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for example. And these are, there's a beautiful answer by Shaykh Faraz Khan, who's been one of our long-standing teachers here at Seekers, but he's also, as you know, one of the very distinguished, is a distinguished part of the faculty at Zaytuna, and mashallah, this year he's teaching at the Rihla. So if you go to the Deen Intensive Foundation's website, you can see his lessons from Turkey. MashaAllah, he's a very distinguished teacher and someone we respect and admire. We have a number of answers. There's also an answer, and I think they've just posted it, the meaning of rizq, of provision. Right? So if rizq is constrained, one knows that it's a test. So how do you respond to tests? You respond to tests, one, with trust in Allah. And for that, look at Surah Al-Talaq, verses 2 and 3. Surah 65, 2 and 3. وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. Whoever holds fast to taqwa of Allah, Allah will grant a way out. So anytime you find yourself in a difficulty, the first thing to embrace is taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. And this is an amazing promise from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ. Whoever has taqwa of Allah, embrace taqwa of Allah and all that it entails. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, يَجْعَلْ لَهُ. It's a conditional thing. If, then. وَمَنْ يَتَقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبْ. And He will provide for them. وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبْ. In ways they could never even imagine. وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. And whoever placed their trust in Allah, He is their sufficiency. And this is amazing. And whoever places their trust in Allah, He is their sufficiency. Right? So that's the second key. One key is embrace taqwa. The second is to embrace trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? To embrace trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. Whoever places their trust in Allah, Allah is their sufficiency. But you have to know, قَدْ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدْرًا. Allah has made a qadr, a destiny for everything, right? Things are, there's a destiny, and things will unfold as Allah wills, right? And He is the Lord. And sometimes these things happen also to remind us who's in charge. But He is the merciful Lord. So you have to believe in His mercy. You have to believe in His mercy, right? And if you do, right, the Prophet ﷺ put it beautifully, فَمَنْ رَضِيَ فَلَهُ الرِّضَى. Whoever's content will find contentment. Will find contentment, meaning Allah content with them and they content in life. Right? Contentment is by choosing to be content. Right? By choosing to be content. وَمَنْ سَخِطَ. And whoever is angered, whoever is upset, shall find upset. Which is why this principle, which we find in the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ, but is also found very clearly in the biblical tradition. بِمَا دِنْتَ تُدَانْ. As you are, so shall you find. As you are, so shall you find. So, these are the two key qualities. And regarding that, how do you respond to those challenges? These are the two keys. Respond with taqwa. Respond with trust in Allah. Taqwa entails, right, also considering, what am I doing in life that goes contrary to taqwa? How am I with respect to my prayers? How am I with respect to the rights of Allah? Especially the obligatory rights. Am I falling short in some obligatory right? Have I paid my zakat? Right? How am I with respect to the rights of others? Right? Taqwa begins by fulfillment of rights. The rights of Allah and the rights of others. How am I with my parents, with my spouse, with my children, with those who are obligations? So have I wronged someone materially? Have I hurt someone? So, if you redress those, that's from upholding taqwa. If you do so, Allah has promised that He will grant you a way out. Sometimes He sends us these tests to allow us to fix ourselves up. Right? It's a taqwa training. Right? That fix up yourself. And we say, Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. At your behest, O Lord. And there's this, we did a podcast on this a little while back. We've shared it on the forum here on positive spiritual thinking, about which is an explanation of the verse that we just quoted from Surah At-Talaq, Surah 65, verses 2 and 3. And you can find it. It's sharing some of the lessons the ulama mentioned.
Thank you for listening. This podcast was brought to you by Seekers Guidance, the global Islamic seminary. Visit SeekersGuidance.org to access reliable Islamic knowledge taught by qualified teachers. We offer a wide range of courses, podcasts, articles, and a world-class answer service. Support us in spreading free, reliable Islamic knowledge to millions around the world by becoming a monthly supporter. Visit SeekersGuidance.org/donate and make a small monthly commitment today.